Hello.
Hello. Woof. Mario, what's going on, buddy?
Okay, and you?
Good.
No, they were in a hurry and they're not here.
No, doesn't look like anybody's here. Just you and me.
Once upon a time.
All right.
We are on Masechta Eruvin, Lamed Ches, 38, Mishnah. Rabbi Eliezer Omer. Yom Tov HaSamach L'Shabbos. You have a Pesach that falls on a Friday, which is then followed by a Shabbos. Bein Milfanel, Bein Milachrea, or Yom Tov is on a Sunday. Ma'arev Adam Shnei Eruvin. He can make two different eruvs. On Thursday night, he can go to the west and says, "Here's my eruv, and I want to go another 2,000 amas to the east, right? Eruva Barishon LaMizrach, east." And then on Friday night, Ubasheni LaMayrev. So he holds that there's two different kedushos. You can make two different eruvs. Like we know that on Shabbos itself, you can't make an eruv to two different locations. You can't say half of Shabbos I want to go here, half of Shabbos. Once you make one eruv, you can't make two eruvs on one Shabbos. So the question is, do we treat Yom Tov and Shabbos as one kedusha or as two kedushos? So Rabbi Eliezer seems like he's treating it like two. And therefore he breaks it down. You could go in one direction on Yom Tov, the other direction on Shabbos. Barishon Lamay, Rishon Lemizrach. Oh. Ma'arev Adam Shnei Eruvin Voimer, Eruvin Barishon Lemizrach, Rishon Lemayrev, Barishon Lemayrev, Rishon Lemizrach. Or he could say, Eruvi Barishon of Asheni Kivnei Iri. I only want an Eruv on the first day. On the second day, I don't want an Eruv. I'm going to be like my city. Or I want the Eruv to work for the second day, Barishon Kivnei Iri. So he can split it up any way he wants. However, Chachamim Oimrim, no. Once you put your Eruv down Thursday night, that's your Eruv for the next 2 days. And therefore, Chachamim seem to treat it as one Kedusha, at least regarding Eruv Tchunim. O Ma'arav L'Shnei Yamim, or in Ma'arav Kolikar, the Eruv has to work for both days, otherwise it won't work. Ketzad Yaseh. So how does he practically do it? So he goes Molicho Barishon, Umachshech Halav. Now remember, he brings his food. You don't have to use food. If you physically go to the location, that's your domicile. You don't need to be, if you are physically there, that's enough. Now you could send a shaliach with food. So he could go either with himself with food or with a shaliach and umach shechalav, and he allows Yom Tov to come into play. Then the notlo ubalo, he takes the food with him because he doesn't want to lose it. If he leaves it there, it might get eaten up. So then, Basheni, he comes back Friday night, before Friday night and allows nightfall to come, and he gets to eat it. Because now, if he left it, he would lose out that food. So he eat it. The nimsa mishtaker balichaso, he has benefited by going there both times, and he was mishtaker. He got to eat the erev as well. Nechal barishon. Now, if the food got eaten the first day, so if it was there already, ben hashmosha say ruva larishon, but ben ruva lasheni, but there's no erev for the second day. There's no food. Armelad Rabbi Ezer, moidi matem li shein shtei kedushos. If you hold that this is how you can do it, obviously you hold like me that it's shtei kedushos. Because according to you, why not put the eruv down Thursday night? It should work for both days. So you seem to be admitting to me that it's because you're requiring him to go both nights, that it's two kedushos. So it says the Gemara, L'ruach achas ma'iniu. Which means for both days, the Friday Yontif and the Shabbos, he has to go in the same direction both days. That's what's meant L'ruach achas. And L'shnei Yomim Ma'ini, what did he mean when he said L'shnei Yomim? Which again means L'ruach achas. It means you got to go only in one direction both days. Well, Hainu Kamaisa. So then, L'chora, it's superfluous. You've said it already. So the Gemara says, Hachi Karmer le Rabbanan Rabbi Eliezer. This is what Rabbanan say, Rabbi Eliezer. Iyata modeh. Don't you agree to us? She'ein ma'arvin liyom echad chetzi l'tzav v'chetzi l'darom. On a regular Shabbos, you can't put the eruv down to the east and then in the morning have it work for the west. The eruv works for 24 hours. Then aval, yes, I agree. So says Chachamim, that just like you can't on one Shabbos make an eruv in two directions, it's got one kedusha like one Shabbos, and you can only go in one direction. Rabbi Eliezer, what does he say? Hassam, you gave me the example of one Shabbos, and I agree that you can't make eruvims to two different locations because it's kedusha achas. You can't break the eruv in half a day. Hacha, but when Friday is Yontif and Shabbos is Shabbos, shtei kedushos. It's two different kedushos. Omer lehem Rabbi Eliezer. And now that was the dialogue that the Rabbanon had with Rabbi Eliezer. Now this is the dialogue Rabbi Eliezer has with them. Iyatem moidim sheim irev baraglav biyom rishon ma'arev baraglav biyom sheni. A person can physically walk to the location, and he's physically there. So he's koine shvisa where he is. And just like he can do that on the first day, he can ma'arev baraglav biyom sheni. He could do it on the second day. Don't you agree to me that nechal eruva biyom rishon and yotzela biyom sheni? And let's say he didn't place his body there, but he actually left food there. But the food got eaten on the first day. You agree to me that if there's no eruv there anymore, it doesn't work for the second day. Amrulo aval. And Chacham say we agree. Well, Hailai shtei kedusha saying, if it's one kedusha, says Rabbi Eliezer, and there was food there Thursday night, why shouldn't it work for both days, even if the food was eaten up on the first day? Must be you're agreeing to me, says Rabbi Eliezer, that it's two kedushos. That's why if it gets eaten up, there's no Eruv for the second Kedusha, the Shabbos. So what in fact is the sheet of the Rabbana? Really, Sfukim Esafkilu. They are Mesupik what the din is. So they're machmer both ways. And it's not like they know for sure that it's either one Kedusha or two Kedushos. They are Mesupik regarding that issue. So they go stringently in each case. Amru lo Rabbi Eliezer. They said to Rabbi Eliezer, Iyata moide, don't you agree to us? She'ein ma'arvin b'tchila miyontov l'Shabbos. Don't you agree that if you had not put your Eruv down from Thursday, when it was not Yontiv, and you tried to put an Eruv down on Yontiv itself, you can't make an Eruv on Yontiv to work for Shabbos. Omer lahen aval. Yes, he agrees to that. So, high like Dushachasi. So you see very clearly, it's one Kedusha. However, Rabbi Eliezer says, no, there's no right that it's one Kedusha. That involves a side issue. That's Mishum Achana. I'm not allowed to prepare on Yontif for Shabbos. That's why we make an Erev Tafshilin, and we lay, 2 Tafshilin on Erev Yontif in order to allow us to cook on Yontif for Shabbos, because normally you can't cook Yontif for Shabbos. So laying down an Eruv is a problem with Achana, not because of this issue whether it's one Kedusha or two Kedusha. Okay, Ton Rabban. Erev Baraglav B'Yom Rishon. So we said, you don't have to put food down. If I physically go to the place, I create my shvisa there, that's my new home, and I can extend where I go another 2,000 hours. That's called Erev Baraglav. So Erev Baraglav B'Yom Rishon, Ma'ar Baraglav B'Yom Sheni. So I can go at night as well, the next night, and do it on the second night. Now, but let's say I didn't use my body. I used food. And it got eaten up. If there's no more Eruv, I have no Eruv for the second day. I have the common area between my home and the Eruv. I can go where the city can go. Right? Chamar Gamel means donkey and camel. Because maybe it's one Kedusha, and maybe the Eruv works for both days. And therefore, I lose out the 2,000 amis on the other side. I can only go in one direction. On the other side, I don't get anything. So I can't, normally I have 2,000 amis in all 4 directions. Now, I only have 1,000 amis in one direction. And maybe it's 2 Kedushos. I'm not kona anything only for one day. And I have to be like my city. So I don't have 2,000 either. I only have 1,000. That's called Chomer Gamel. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel of Rabbi Shmuel ben Ashur of Yocham Raka Oimrer, Erev Baraglav Berishon. If I made an Erev with my physical body on the first day, Ein Ma'arev Baraglav B'Sheni. I cannot do it. I don't have to do it. It works for both days. The Erev that I made Thursday night works for both Friday and Shabbos. They clearly hold as one Kedusha. And if I laid food down Thursday night, and even though it got eaten, my Erev still works for Shabbos, because again, they hold it's one Kedusha. Omer Rav, halacha karboz kerim alolu. The halacha is like these last matirim. Valibed Rabbi Eliezer de Omar, shtei Kedushos say.
Ernie, why do you need a kedusha for Yom Tov? Yom Tov, you have an automatic eruv. You need an eruv on Yom Tov.
You need Erev Tchumim on Yom Tov too, absolutely. You only can go 2,000 amas. Has the same din as Shabbos.
Eruv has the same din as Shabbos. Shabbos, you need an eruv. Yom Tov, you need an eruv too.
We're talking about Erev Tchumim, the 2,000
Yeah,
amas.
but I'm just saying, why would there be a difference? In other words, on Yom Tov, you don't need, you can carry.
No,
right?
but you can't carry more than 2,000 amas. The din of Tchum, the din of Erev Tchumim applies to Yom Tov.
So
exactly
why
like
would,
it applies to
if he walks, why would it be considered? Why would it be considered a chona? In other words, if he walks on Yom Tov Rishon, which is Thursday night, and he walks on Friday, so why would it be two different kedushas?
So we're going to see that going physically with your body, as opposed to laying down a food, is exactly enough kamina you just brought up. That they're going to say by food it's achana, but by going with your physical body, you don't have to say anything. You were not muchan.
Oh, you were
That's
not.
why the erev is allowed there, because you have not violated achana. So that point's going to come up tonight. It's a good point. Ve'elu in our boskein.
Is Rosh Hashanah is Yom HaRichta? Is that considered one kedusha?
Yeah, Rosh Hashanah is different than the regular 2 days of Yom Tiv. That's for a different reason. That's for how the din of Rosh. That had to do with the Eidim coming on Rosh Hashanah, and we pushed them away because they came too late. And they made a mistake with the shear. So while with Yom Tiv, the 2 days has to do with we didn't have enough time for the Eidim to come out. So we, out to Bavel. So two different reasons. And that nafkamina is why by regular Yom Tiv, it's not considered, we make a shechianu both nights, because the second day Yom Tiv is considered a tikkun d'rabbanan of new Yom Tiv. That's why you make shechianu both nights of Yom Tiv. Let's say both nights of Shavuos, first 2 nights of Sukkot. There's no shaila, you make first 2 nights of Pesach. Each night is its own Yom Tiv, because we don't know whether Yom Tov is 15th or 16th. By Rosh Hashanah, the whole purpose why on the second night of Rosh Hashanah we wear a new tie or we have a new fruit, because it's because of this issue that perhaps the shechianu that we made the first night of Kiddush, you don't have to make another shechianu because it's a 2-day Yom Tov. So that's why the shechianu, we have some other reason to make a shechianu on the second day.
Yeah, but I was talking, the Shabbos and Yom Tov are 2 kedushas. So that's why you have to make a separate error for both of them. But what about Rosh Hashanah?
That's about, we just learned this. This issue of whether Yom Tov and Shabbos are 2 kedushas, machlokes tanoi between Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachamim. Chachamim said it's 1 kedusha. We're talking about regarding Eruv Tchumin.
I know.
Regarding the issue of Eruv Tchumin, it's considered 1 kedusha, because that's why they held that for all the things that they held, that you have to lay down. You only can go in one direction for the 2 days, because it's considered 1 long kedusha. According to Rabbi Eliezer, you can go to 4,000 amas to the east on the first day and 4,000 amas to the west on the second day. Chacham don't allow you to do that, because it's 1 kedusha. The one thing you set up works.
Can you make a Yom Kippur? Can you make an Erev Tavshilin? I mean, a Erev Tchumen? Because you're not going to eat the food, unless you make it for a chola, maybe.
Erev Tchumen you could also do on Yom Kippur to allow you to walk more than 2,000 amas. If
but you're not going to use the food.
But you don't need food. I said you can make an Erev with your physical body. You
can't do that on Shabbos. You can only do it Erev Shabbos. You can't do it on Shabbos. So
Yom
Yom Kippur, you couldn't do it anyway. Yom Kippur has the same din as Shabbos.
No. All Erev Tchumim are made Erev. So you show up Erev Yom Kippur.
Yeah, but Elazar was asking you a different question. Okay,
a half hour before Yom Kippur, and you can with your domicile, with your body, and you can extend an Erev by 2,000 amas.
Okay, but you have to go Erev Yom Kippur. You can't do it on
Of course. Every Erev has to be established Erev.
Okay, Rabbi.
The Elohein Arba Zakeni, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika, Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yudah Stimasa. The Ikedi Amri, other people's Chad Minai Rabbi Lazar. One of these are Rabbi Lazar. Umafik Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yudah Stimasa. Freit the Gemara, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika. Ibcha Shamin and Lahu. We heard Bechlal the opposite. That is Kedusha Achas, not Shtei Kedushos. Epoch. So you have to switch the Shitas. So if you have to switch the Shitas, the same thing as Rabbi. How is it different than Rabbi? In fact, it's not different than Rabbi. Ema v'cheinam Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. So why wasn't Rabbi included in the Zechenim? Rabbi, Tani Lav Savarla. He brought down the halacha, but he didn't personally hold like that. Maybe Rabbanan Nami Tani Lav Savarla. Maybe the Rabbanan are also just bringing it down, but they don't hold. However, Rav Gemara Gemira, Rav had a tradition that these Arba'ah Zakenim had that shita and didn't rely on the Mishnayos, in terms of, whether Epoch or not Epoch. Ki nachnavshe de Rav Huna, when Rav Huna died, Rav Chizda came Lemema de Rav Adarav. To ask a kasha on Rav Niyam Rav, Halacha Karba Zakenim, Va'alibad Rabbi Lazar Damar Shtei Kedusha saying, did Rav really say that it's two Kedushos? Va'itmar, we have another brayso. Shabbos v'yontif, you have an egg that was no light. Rav Amar nolda b'zeh or b'zeh. If it was late on Friday, which was a yontif, you can't use it on Shabbos, or vice versa. If it was late on Shabbos and yontif is Sunday, you can't use it on Sunday. It sounds like it's one Kedusha, not two Kedushos. That's why you can't use it. Like, for example, you know for sure an egg that was laid on Shabbos, so that's Noilad, you can't use it that Shabbos. So, L'chora, by answering it on the second day, it seems to suggest that the Shabbos and Yontif are also one Kedusha, not Shtei Kedushos. So again, comes Rabbah to say, Hasam Mishum Achana. That has nothing to do with the issue of whether it's one long Kedusha and the Shabbos followed by Yontif, it's as if it's one long day. Nah. It's a different din called Hachana. I cannot be Mechin on Yontif for Shabbos or Shabbos for Yontif. The Tanya. V'haya bayom hashishi v'echinu. Chol Mechin l'Shabbos. V'chol Mechin l'Yontif. I can prepare food, Erev Shabbos for Shabbos, Erev Yontif for Yontif. But in Yontif, Mechin l'Shabbos, vein Shabbos Mechina l'Yontif. Yontif cannot prepare for Shabbos, and Shabbos can't prepare for Yontif. Armelei Abaya, Elahadis Nan. What about our Mishnah? Okay, so we said Molicho Barishon. You take your food Erev Yontif on Thursday night, Umachshir Chalav, and then you let Yontif start. Vinotla Uba. Then you take the food with you because you don't want it to be lost. And then you go back Friday afternoon, Basheni, with the food, Machshir Chalav, and then Ochlo, Ubalo. Now here, Hakamechin Miyontif L'Shabbos. Here he's walking on Friday afternoon, 4 o'clock. Let's say Shabbos starts 5 o'clock, and he's laying down his Eruv, and then you're telling him, lay it down at 4 o'clock, which is still Yontiv, and then Shabbos will start 5 o'clock, and you've made your Eruv. It won't work. The preparation that you're doing of laying the Eruv down is Achana. And you just told me I can't be making from Yontiv to Shabbos. Amalei Rabbah, Mi Savris, Sofayom Kona Eruv. Who told you that the Eruv is triggered by the end of the day? That means as Friday ends, That's how the Erev is Kona. And therefore, the Hachana occurred on Friday, which was Yontif, and therefore that would be a problem. No. Tchilas Hayom Kona Erev. It's as Shabbos comes in, Bein Hashmashas, and Shabbos comes in, so Shabbos prepared for itself. Shabbos Mechina La'atzma. And Freit the Gemara Lameata Yarvu Belogin. We had a case about a Tvul Yom that had a jug of wine, and we said that it was Tevel, and he said, let the Trumas Meiser happen once night comes. We said Dvorv Kayom. But if he said, let my Erev work, no. Because we answered there, Sofa Yom Kona. And it was still Tevel at that time, so it wasn't Roy for a Suda. But if what you're saying, it's not Sofa Yom that's Kona, but Tchilas Yom Kona, then it should work over there. Elameata Yarvu Belogin. And for the Gemara, Be'in and Suda, Ru'uya Mibod Yom Veleka. You have another criteria by Eruv. You need a Suda that you could eat, technically, if you wanted to, while it was still Erev Shabbos or Erev Yom Tov. And in that case, you couldn't because it was Truma. Elahadis not of Eliezer Oimer, Yom Tov Asamach L'Shabbos. Yom Tov is either Friday or Sunday. Bein Milfanei Bein Milachrea. Me'arev Adam Shnei Eruvin, which was our Mishnah. You could lay down two separate Eruvim, one day to the west, the other day to the east. However, Habe'inan Su'uda Ru'im Bod Yom Veleka. So once I laid down my food, let's say Thursday evening, and I'm kind of shvisa there, and I only can go 2,000 amis, I wouldn't be able to eat to reach the other Eruv to the east, because that's going to be 4,000 amis. And therefore I can't reach it. And therefore it's not a Suda that's Ru'uya. So the Gemara says, Mi savris demanach le b'sofo paim amalakan, b'sofo paim amalakan. Who said I used the full extent? I did it. Demanach le b'sof elef amalakan, b'sof elef amalakan. I only laid my Eruv 1,000 amis away from my house. So it gave me 3,000 amis from my house. And 1,000 amis in the other direction. So I was able physically to get to both of the Eruvs within my 2,000 amis that I'm allowed to walk. Okay. Elohadam Rav Yehuda. This is what Walter talked about. Erev Baraglav Yom Rishon. Let's say I didn't use food. I used my body. And I went Thursday evening and made my Eruv there. I said Ma'ar Baraglav Yom Shein. I can use my body on Friday night as well. Erev B'pas B'Yom Rishon. If I used bread Thursday, Ma'ar B'pas B'Yom Shein. Freit the Gemara, Hakam Mechin Yontav L'Shabbos. In both cases, I am preparing, I'm being making the Eruv from Yontav to Shabbos on the second day. Omer lei mi savri de ozol v'omer midi. Being mechin means I have to say something. Oh, this is my domicile. Otherwise, I didn't do a pu'ula v'chana. Rather, ozol v'shasik v'yosiv. I just went and I was quiet. Kiman, Kirab Yochanan ben Nuri. The Omar Cheftzei Hefker Koinen Shvisa. If I put an inanimate object down, they're Koinen Shvisa by themselves. I don't have to say something. I don't have to say. And therefore, the Gemara is arguing here that whether I do it with my body or whether I do it with food, it's not considered hachana. Because you see, even an inanimate object can be koine shvisa. So does this work only according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Nori? The Gemara says no. Even we could understand the sugya filu temi rabbanon, who argue with Rabbi Yochanan ben Nori that cheftzei hefker are not koine shvisa. Ad kam lekli rabbanon led Rabbi Yochanan ben Nori ela biyashing. Let's say you have a sleeping person who goes there, where he cannot speak. The lo matzi omar. Aval b'neir, an awake person, the boiler maimer matzi omar. Since if he's awake, he has the ability to say it. Aval gad lo omar, it's command omar dami. So as long as you have, it's like bila. That means as long as you have the ability to say it, even if you didn't say it, it'll work. But a sleeping person who doesn't have the ability to say it, it won't work. So technically, it could work even according to the sheet of the Chachamim. If I would have heard the sugya, what about Haditanya? Lo yahalech adam l'sof sadeu leida mahi tzricha. This will do tomorrow. We'll do this tomorrow. So tomorrow.